Hey y'all, it's Anna from Mimsy's Garden. You can call me Mims, just like my friends. Thought I'd give you an update today on what's going on around the homestead. Let's go. Okay, so here's what's been going on around here. Been working on my little drift rose. She's doing good. And then this morning, I planted a short climber, Alexander Mitchell, I believe. It's a reddish wine-colored rose, just like the drift. I've been putting mulch around my garbage thing. I'm gonna put rocks there too. Just cleaning up around that tree. And as you come into the driveway, you see my two little berms. And they're doing good. Got the forest pansy redbud. Some Texas sage back there, crepe myrtle, some Draco, whatever, grass. Mexican grass, traveling lantana, and anastation, whatever, something. I'm not good with these names. I'm learning them, but I don't know them all yet. And then on that side, I've got some luriate grass planted and some lantana on that mess right there. Far pole, there's more of that purple traveling lantana, and then the utility pole I did red sedum, and then this is just a mirror of this other side. Back there where that huge tree is, we're cleaning out around there. When I do get it finished cleaning out, we've got some limbs to pay to have taken down that are getting across on Glenda's house. But I'm gonna put a lavender rhododendron back there, and hopefully soon get to pay somebody to clean all this fence row up that's driving me bonkers. So we'll head down the driveway. Crepe myrtle is doing good. I've turned those grass weeds over. I'm gonna come down here and build that out some. I've got some Weigela pots already here to plant, and also some Bobo hydrangeas. On this side, we've got fruit trees. And on this side are fruit trees coming up the lane. Mayhaws, muscadines, a spot for the peach tree, my new trellis, arbor, peach, and plum, and mulberry. And I've already started on some projects. This little berm here are 3 passionate kisses coral pink roses. They are a bush type, so I'll probably be pulling the sedum and the irises out later. I put those just so that there is some kind of visual interest there for now. I've got Mom's Dawn 1 over there on the black trellis. There's a pink Gatsby hydrangea and some yellow Caroline jasmine. And then the arbor, we'll drive around to the other side. Under the flagpole, I've got a John F. Kennedy rose and a peach drift for now. a very sickly iceberg that's recuperating. It got waterlogged. I thought the drainage holes in my pot were open and they were not. And there's the matching iceberg there. So I put John F. Kennedy under the American and the civilian peace flags. Okay, let's turn that noisy utility cart off for a minute. So far, this is just the beginning. I have on each side of the arbor the generous gardeners from David Alston. They are very large climbers. Within 2 years, this whole thing will be filled out. Each flanking gate panel and the arbor. In the pots, I have not decided exactly what I'm doing yet, so I've not filled those. And then I'm also making beds on both sides. On the back side corners will be planted some little clusters of shorter shrub roses, like a bolero, an angel parfuma, maybe a peace. I'm just going to do groupings. I've got love song and a couple of sweet mademoiselles to group together somewhere in there. I want to put those kind of more towards the house in a cluster, but I'm also leaving myself room for a visual like a bird bath or a fountain, something like that, something statuesque but not a statue, if that makes sense. And this is the back side, so I'm going to do some beddings there. And like I said, a cluster group or two of roses. And I've got this whole entire space here. Probably where this little bare spot is where I'll do those sweet mademoiselles. I haven't decided the hardscaping yet, exactly what I want. I know what I want. I don't know if I can afford what I want. So that's the whole different ball game. And then all of these areas from that first little tiny berm all the way down through these fruit trees, at least to this one behind the arbor, I'd like to put a big widened out berm to plant in. I'd really love to go all the way down, but you know, that's very costly and time consuming, and it would take a gazillion plants, so I don't know. But so far, I'm liking how it's beginning. This is the very beginnings. We're also going to be pulling these railroad timbers and probably using them to line this. We're going to have some more gravel hauled in here to fill that ditch area that makes it difficult to back up. The timbers on the other side are starting to rot, as well as a couple on these front. So I'd like to do some stonework, and just, you know, make it a little more cottagey, rustic feeling, because the inside of the house is more rustic. I know all this is white and black and it's different than my actual style, but we went with what we could afford at the time, and it'll get a facelift in years to come. Whenever this stuff wears out, then I'll do it the way I want it, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be alive and can afford to do it. But once we take those out and we change the hardscaping, we're probably going to soften the curves and go inward and then on further down. I used to want a real big opening coming out of the front door, but I've kind of been tossing around the idea of, once we get the stonework and stuff done the way we want it, having a flagstone path going out there to the swing and to the center of the rose garden, and then that would be probably where I put a bird bath or a fountain or something. So, and Miss Peachtree here has got to be moved. I just dread it. Boy, do I dread it. That is going to be so tough. Bless her heart. She's got peaches on her, though, and that's why I've not moved her yet, because I'm afraid I'm going to kill her. So I'm going to try to get the peaches this year, and just this fall or winter, when she's more dormant and lighter leaved, I'm going to take her out. So you can see the garden is wild and woolly, especially those tomatoes. I need to get out here and prune them. I tell myself every day, go prune those tomatoes, and I hadn't done it. I don't want to mess up their growth habit too much because they're doing so good. There's no diseases. So, and the cucumbers are rocking and all the things. It's just pretty and productive so far. And then the kids' swing area. One day we're gonna take this out when they're too big to swing, and we'll put a gazebo there. And then there's a lavender Muskogee crepe myrtle, 2 plum trees or 3, and a little berm there. All that will be extended out once we build the gazebo. By then, hopefully, the Muskogee crepe myrtle will be big enough to have some good shade, and then we can make beds all around the gazebo. So there is a vision there. And then, you know, we'll be taking out the, I don't know what happened there. And then we'll be taking out the raised metal beds, and I'll probably do some smaller stonework beds. You know, something that's just pretty, you know, and small. I mean, it's just poor boy and I and Mom, and then probably by the time all this happens, Mom won't be here, and it'll just be us. So, well, we shall see. I mean, I have ideas. All that takes funds. So, I don't know. We'll just see where we're at the time. But I do have goals. And the next thing, behind here, where my fruit trees are, some of them, some apple trees. There's 3 apple trees. And the chicken coops. I want to come off of this Moran coop back here and come this way behind this berm, behind the crepe myrtle, and fence off that whole spot so these chickens can actually free range. And then when I get my fencing up, I'm going to do wood fencing with cattle panel attachments on the front, and then just cattle panel and T-posts around the rest, and then line it with some poultry netting or something just to keep the birds in. I know you're not going to keep predators out that way, but I do have dogs. So then once that's done down there in that back corner, I'd like to plant like a 7 Sisters rose or something that's going to really trail the fence line, and put some ivy out on this other corner up here just to kind of keep things, you know, give them a shady spot. And then back there are trees that do provide shade during the day too. Little Gussie playing in the sand pile. And there's Roxy. And all my junk. I got stuff everywhere. Trying to root things and start things. And the kids' garden is a little wild. But they've not been here enough for me. They've been here, but they've not been here enough for me to get them out and show them how to really take care of things and prune it back. And so I'm not messing with it. That's their garden. We're gonna let them learn the way you learn, by doing. Liberty's in the house and she's fussing because the door won't open for her. So that's basically it around here. We just doing lots of little pretties and food still. I'm gonna have that. But my little clematis came back. I thought I'd killed it. And I mean, it was down to the ground. But she's growing. So that's good. And then this is the backside view. You can see the kids' garden is wild and woolly. Like my tomatoes. The lantanas have popped back out. By the end of summer, they will have covered every bit of this all the way up to the house, and I'll have to bleach in the spring again the house because they get black stuff all over them. My elephant ears came back and they're multiplying, but the weed fabric has got them deterred. They can't spread, so I'm gonna later on split those apart and plant them across. And the Bedelia butterfly weed is doing its thing. So as far as these tomato plants, I've been pretty good about keeping them airy. These are Bella Rosas. These are Cherokee Purples. And then there's a Sun Gold. These I've kind of let go a little bit. They're Italian heirlooms and some San Marzanos. They just do better if I leave them alone. The kids have planted a few watermelon plants in this little bed. They're not doing too good and the weeds are taking over. So I need to weed all that and then fertilize. And then they planted some in this pot to see if we could get one to go. And they're doing okay. There's a few little weeds of tomatillas, wild tomatillas in there. And then the asparagus bush is insane. Oh, and Nikki, there's some asparagus. And a nice cucumber. This is a market more. And it's been invaded. Crap. That stinks. I need to do some pest control out here because they get into a lot of cucumbers. But yeah, it's wild. I will say that if you use natural fertilizers like chicken and rabbit manure, blood and bone meal, good soil like some Bacto or something added in there, that you'll get some nice growth. Nice, lush, green growth. Okay, here's one the bugs didn't get. Yay! I'll give the chickens that one. It's not, nothing's wasted. It's just depressing to grow it and it be beautiful. And then, okay, there's insects in there. But that is organic farming. That's just how it is. And also, I will say that mulch is very important around your plants. Not necessarily in the floor. I mean, it does help. I do have some weeds, but it's been great as far as not having to be out here for many, many hours at a time doing that. That cilantro looks a little rough. I gave it a haircut. I mean, a severe haircut. It needed it. These bell peppers look good. I'm just waiting on them to turn the color they're supposed to be. I believe these are yellows. Yep, yellow bell peppers. So we're just waiting. I've got pickling cucumbers everywhere. I've been picking those dailies and the blooms have just really popped on there. So we'll be getting more, hopefully before it gets much hotter, because they'll start getting bitter. Red Marconis. And like I said, mulch around everything really helps. I pulled my peas and some of the cilantro out, but I left the main because it'll keep coming back. I did not know that before, but I've learned. And then those peppers are doing well. And I've got a black cherry tomato in this area. So that's basically it for today. Just kind of giving y'all a little bit of an update. I wanted y'all to see my rose garden beginnings because that is something totally different for me. I've not been into the flowers before. This year I decided I was going to scale down these gardens, which I scaled down last year, but I scaled down even more this year. And then decided to move into some landscaping and making this place look pretty. I just hadn't had the interest in doing that before. My friend Marie from Salon Girl Gardens in Northeast Texas got me into all this, and I'm glad she did because I'm enjoying it. I'm having a blast. It is work and it's hot, but I am having the time of my life learning new things. I always like to learn something new every year. Last year it was milling my own flour and learning to crochet and just other things like that. And then this year, it's all about the plants. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great day. Be blessed. Catch me next time.